All right. So what we're moving into, thanks for joining, is Aparigraha. This is the final yama, and Aparigraha will look at this as stated by Mukunda Styles in the Yoga Sutras. And what he says is, upon the foundation of freedom from greed, one gains insight into the reasons for the cycles of birth and death. So if we aren't greedy, then we start to realize like why we're here. We can look at our lessons. What's coming to me right now as I'm talking about this is something that just happened for me. So Frik-shuhn Yoga has been an incredible company for me. It's me. It's my brand. It's Colin. And I have put my all into it. I used to be a nurse. I went to med school. I quit, started teaching yoga full time. And this is what I've done for 8 years now. And I boast $30,000 months, $10,000 months, $50,000 months, $250,000 years. I've had a great go of it. And in order for me to prove to everyone that I'm making all this money, I've posted, check me out in first class. Look at all the traveling that I've done. I live in Costa Rica, like all of these things. And whatever it is that I'm focusing all day, that's where my energy goes. Well, what is money? Money is a lower level vibe. It's full on in the ego. So I keep focusing on this. I keep showing everybody how good I am, how much money I'm making. Look at how good I'm doing. And inside, I feel like I've succeeded. I've done this, but I don't feel better in my life. And then I decide I'm burnt out. I can't keep doing yoga teacher trainings. I can't keep coaching people. I can't keep doing all of this. I'm exhausted. After 5 years of the nomadic lifestyle, another 3 years in my old life back in British Columbia. And I decided to take 3 months off. Well, it's still actually, I'm still kind of off, to be honest. That was June of last year. And I sink into a depression. I'm so burnt out. I would run a retreat and I would just be like, I want to kill people. I don't want that to come back to me. I'm angry and I don't like people. How about that? That's better. I don't want to ever kill anybody. Okay. But I'm in that place and then I'm just done. Like after the retreat, I've got no energy. I get sick. I'm exhausted. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm crying all the time. And that is not me. Just anybody that knows me knows that's not me. And then I'm just like, what am I going to do? Like, if you're making 30 and 50 and $10,000 a month, chances are you probably have pretty big bills. So especially if you're busy showing it off to everybody else and buying houses and like flying first class and so then all of a sudden that money is not coming in, but there's still big bills coming out because there's still a lot of advertising. There's still a lot of this. There's still credit card payments from going to Vietnam. So then I go into panic. Like, what am I going to do? I end up coming into modern yoga teacher, creating taking over a really cool business, and that continues. But what starts to happen when I'm able to like crawl out of my hole is that I watch this guy, Jay Griff. Check him out on Instagram. And he is giving a talk and he's talking about how in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, when we get to self-esteem, we get stuck in esteem because we forget about self-actualization, which is the whole point of yoga. And we get lost in like, look how good I'm doing. And that's what happened. All of my energy, all of my attention was going on like, look, I made it. And I hadn't because I was so freaking stuck in lower level materialistic bullshit. And I wasn't happy. So I'm glad it all happened, even though it's been really uncomfortable because I'm used to flying first class and I'm used to having all this money and my car got stolen and I still don't have a new car because I don't have $20,000 and $30,000 months right now. I've been humbled because I've been reminded that I am here for self-actualization. And so Aparigraha, which is non-possessiveness, is exactly, thank you, universe, that I can teach so deeply on this one because of that. I got lost in ego. And what am I really here to do other than self-actualize? I'm here to support the awakening of the world. I am, to as many people as I possibly can. And I do that through teaching. I do that through yoga. I do that through yoga teacher trainings and yoga retreats and yoga coaching. That's what I do. And so if I'm now a greedy, like egomaniac flying around the world first class, how am I ever going to teach yoga teachers to self-actualize? No, I'm teaching yoga teachers to make a shit ton of money and still be unhappy and then lose their yoga practice. So you're welcome, everybody, for being so fucking uncomfortable for the last year and coming to this place of recognizing like, oh shit, I got lost in possessiveness. So Deborah Adele and some comments around here, aparigraha or non-possessiveness can also be interpreted as non-attachment, non-greed, non-clinging, non-grasping, and non-coveting. Think of what I was doing. I was doing all of those things. And I lost me. I lost what I was doing it for. And then, of course, I burnt out because then I was just doing it for the money and it was not fulfilling anything. I was not living a life of fulfillment. I was living a life of showing you all how. And I mean, in my head, it wasn't like, listen, bitches, here's how amazing I am. It was like, look at, I make this money and I'm showing it to you so that you can trust me so that I can help you make this money too. That was what was in my head. It wasn't me being an asshole. Well, it was totally. But at the same time, it was like me proving myself. You can trust me. You can come. If you work with me, trust me. Even now, if you work with me, you'll make money. But that's not what we're here for. I'm no longer like boasting 20K months, even though that is a possibility. But what I am boasting is to keep you self-actualized, to keep you remembering why you're teaching yoga. Why? Not to be an asshole. What we try to possess possesses us. And I hope that what I just shared was like the perfect story or example of how that happens. Again, in the kleshas, we have 5 kleshas, right? We have number 1 is ignorance. So what are you ignorant to? Well, you forgot who you truly are. Hello. And then so what did you do? You misidentified as ego, which is the 2nd klesha. These are the reasons why you suffer. So what did I do? I identified as my ego and how much money I was making. And if you identify with ego, then you definitely have attachments, attachment to money, attachment to more followers, attachment to all the bullshit that I was attached to, and then averse. So you avoid feeling bad. I avoided ever slowing down because if I did, then I would think, oh, it's not about me proving how much money I make. It's about me showing up for people. It's about me adding value in the world. It's about me supporting yoga teachers in creating sustainable businesses. I mean, come on, $250,000 is a pretty sweet amount of money to make every year as a yoga teacher. I'm all like, I want a private jet and I want $1 million. And now I'm like, I don't even think that would have made me happy, even though it would make things fucking cool. Don't get me wrong. And that would possess me. If I had a private jet, then I would be possessed by my private jet. So the breath as teacher, what if we could trust life like we trust the breath? This is a beautiful practice I love to do with people. So I want you to do it with me right now. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And don't let it out, because what you just did was you received the gift of life. All right. The precious molecule of oxygen. Now, some people like to give or like to receive and not give. So don't breathe. Just keep holding your breath for the next 27 minutes, right? You can't. So let it out. Now you just gave. What did you give? You gave carbon dioxide that actually fuels or feeds the plants that then breathe out oxygen for us to live. So life is reciprocal. We have to receive and we have to give. So even if you give all the time and don't receive, let's just try that. So I want you to blow out, blow out, blow out, blow out. Not inhale, just keep blowing out, just keep giving, giving, giving. You're going to die. Okay, same thing. Let's just receive, receive, receive. Inhale, 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 inhale. You can't do just one. That's why if, I mean, and then play victim to it as well. Like, I just give and everybody takes. Yeah, that's because you just keep breathing out. You're going to die. You cannot have one without the other. Let's learn. Inhale and exhale. You have to give and you have to receive. Or maybe you don't and you're amazing and you can just continue exhaling for the rest of your life. I want to meet you then if you could do that. There is a nourishment until we get attached to things, often unconsciously. I'm just like defending myself right now in the fact that, you know, I did get attached unconsciously to proving, wanting love and worth and you to believe me and trust me. But my focus was money. And so if all I do all day is teach about money, then what is going to be my concern? Let's go back to the gym person I was talking about in brahmacharya, right? If I just focus on showing everybody how yoked I am all the time, what I look like, what I look like, what I look like, what the freak do you think your energy is going to grow around? Your appearance. You are going to misidentify as what you look like. And then your value is placed 100% on what you look like. And if you cut your face or get burnt or, I don't know, get a zit, then your whole life is over. The nature of the realm of the Aparigraha is impermanence. Everything changes, nothing stays the same. There's a story about a king who has a wise man that comes and he says, I have the best advice for you. These are people that are giving advice all day long. I have the best advice for you. And he says, teach me your ways. And he says, listen, I'm going to make something for you and I'll give it to you tomorrow. So the next day, the wise man shows up and he gives him a ring. And on the inside of the ring is inscribed, this too shall pass. And he says, at any time when things are really, really great or things are really, really terrible, I want you to remember this ring. I want you to take it off and I want you to read it. And so the king does this. The king is actually in a war and they're losing. And he can hear horses in the background and he knows all of his guys have been killed. And he starts to ride away and he hears people chasing him and he sees there's a cliff ahead of him and he doesn't know what to do and it's cloudy. And he remembers in the moment, he stops at the cliff and he remembers and he takes the ring off and he looks inside and it says, this too shall pass. And he has a moment of the impermanence, like, okay. And then what happens is the horses are actually his own men and they won the war. He just got separated from them. So they're back at the castle and they are celebrating. Everything's amazing. And he's like, they've won the war. They've got the land. They've got all the things. And the wise man comes up to him and he says, read the ring. And he takes it off and he reads, this too shall pass. Nothing is permanent. And we cannot connect the dots looking forward. We can only connect the dots looking back. So there's a little story here called Hanging in Midair. So much like the moment when the breath is completely exhaled, the trapeze artist has a moment when they are suspended in midair. My understanding is that they have to let go of one bar and wait in midair for the next swing bar to reach them. If they hold on to the current bar or reach for the next bar, their timing will be off and they will fall. Instead, they must let go fully to be ready for the bar swinging towards them, trusting the timing of the swing and not their own effort to reach. This is an experience of letting go. It's raw, naked, vulnerable, and uncomfortable. And I would much prefer to let go when I know for sure what is coming. And when I have let go, I want to somehow stay connected just in case I want it back. To let go completely feels like suspension in the void. It's funny because you know how they catch monkeys in some countries? They have like a tray, let's just say like a trailer, it has bars on it and it has bananas on the inside. And so the monkeys will reach their hands in the bar. It's enough that they can get their hands in, and they'll take a hold of the banana, and then they can't get their hands out of the bars. The capturers or the trainers or whatever you want to call them will come, and the monkeys keep trying to pull the banana out of the bars. They don't let it go. And so the monkeys are just captured and then they're taken away, and they were never like imprisoned in any way. The imprisonment is the attachment to the banana. So where is it that you're doing that in your life? Again, what you possess possesses you. So if I look at another story, anything we cling to creates a maintenance problem for us. The material items that we hoard, collect, and buy because they're on sale or take because they're free all take up space and demand our attention. Storage boxes and sheds become an easy way to fool ourselves. Clutter in our physical space blocks our ability to physically move, while clutter in our minds blocks our freedom to expand and have space for the next thing life wants to bring us. What I'm holding on to is holding on to me. Attachments ruin our day when they aren't fulfilled. Attachments make us boring. And attachments keep us blinded to the smorgasbord of new opportunities around us. I think about when I decided to sell everything I owned and just like go on a walkabout. I was stressing about a lot of things, including money, over 5 years ago. Yes, I've been in this situation more than once. Okay. I don't need to hear it. I am listening, but I also sometimes like to take the long road. And I was thinking, I had sold my home, I had sold all my possessions, but before I decided to sell everything, and most of it I just gave away because the selling took so much time and energy for very little finances, I wondered if I should put everything in a storage facility. I mean, I had a motorcycle, an R1. I mean, my dream motorcycle, and I painted it hot pink. I mean, this was amazing. I don't want to lose that bike. So I was going to rent a storage facility. And at that time, that's when there was a big boom in the real estate market. So even storage facilities were like almost the same cost as mortgage and rent. And so that would have depleted my funds like rather quickly, because I was also traveling. And so I was like wondering what I should do. And that would have kept me attached to back in Canada. It kept me attached to like, I have to get back and I have to pay this thing, and I can't do this, and I can't fully experience what I was able to experience when I went on my walkabout with no belongings. I had nothing holding me back. So I felt this as well. So let's look at what your homework is for this week. This week, I want you to pay attention to your breath. Let the simple act of inhaling and exhaling teach you about the fullness of breathing in life without the need to hold on to it. And then journal your observations and your experience. So I thank you so much for being here and for listening to me for the last little while. I'm going to sign off on a Friday afternoon. Thank you for watching this video.